Now pay attention, because part of what we are going to discuss today is the final split between the largest rap loser and the biggest DoorDash keyboard fighter. Please subscribe and give a like. And now, given what just transpired here, these hostile, irate, and obnoxious lobby stands will be much more upset with me. I will require the assistance. Leave that like that, and the weight that this will carry moving forward will vary significantly, given the recent collision of the two largest crashes involving anything like rap music. Rap is about to take off like we have never seen it do before. Collectively, even as hip-hop as a culture and the genre progress with everything surrounding Tyler the Creator and his new album. This is all part of the fun that we will have with the significant occasion that this will be. On the other hand, things are becoming rather awful for certain people in this day and age because they have repeatedly made poor decisions. And the true reason behind this is that the finest MCs and cultural ambassadors are emerging in the rap industry right now. The worst individuals, are failing on the other side of this. It seems like hip-hop is winning too many battles. And now, as a result of this, these losers are just starting to truly decay in a way that we could have never predicted, even on their darkest days. Therefore, we must ensure that everyone understands what has transpired here before Tyler Creator creates a whole new wave of this potential golden age that we are about to witness. This is because the strange partnership between rap's favorite DoorDasher and the melting man appears to be coming to an end. And everyone needs to know how bad it really got at a time when classics are dropping and many people's legacies are falling off the all-time list. Overall, there's a growing conflict between these two hip-hop ideologies, with some people benefiting and others suffering. Now, it appears that Nicki Minaj's collapse, which was caused by SZA, Mana manager, TDE leader Punch, and then more TDE got involved and essentially packed her up and embarrassed her severely, is what caused a whole new wave of losers that no one could have even predicted. Even though TDE as a whole ended up looking stronger than ever, Young Money recently revealed to her that they had one of the most shameful collapses in the history of music and rap. The repercussions of this, however, revealed a spiral that was even more unmanageable than we had anticipated. The person who got involved in this and simply informed us of the chaos on that side of hip-hop that I doubt any of us even want to be near, as well as all of the noise that truly matters from this and what will affect people beyond them doing MTBTFs, came from DJ Akademiks, rap's least favorite basement dweller. We also learned about A's current destination since he had to plunge into this thing. Since they have been having problems for a while, AC truly got involved in this whole feud simply to be mean and spiteful to SZA. Drake personally contacted him and urged him to simply stop speaking to her in that manner, which is the only reason their feud ever ended in 2023. Naturally, this was also the time that Drake and SZA collaborated on a couple of tracks. Thus, it appeared like they were communicating well. Now fast forward to the present, and SZA and Drake are not doing well. Ak simply refused to stop harassing her. And now, as a result of DJ Akademiks doing what he does best, which is irritate people in the most disrespectful and incomprehensible ways possible for somebody of his prominence, Punch called him out and accused Ak of having Drake manage his social media accounts and write the offensive captions he uses, which was a fair check on him. And it seemed like Punch had struck a chord with Ak that deeply troubled him with what he said. And what ultimately transpired was simply the clearest sign that Drake and DJ Akademiks' relationship has never been worse. When A eventually left his basement and took a brief respite from being the most awful person, even when taking a break from doing the annoying broadcasts where he is just producing trouble after problem, we realized how terrible everything had gotten. He had to conduct a special live performance to correct certain problems, since he was so furious that he once again jumped off his piano. He is done with Drake, as seen by this charged-up crash out, which did not include any more of his DoorDash demands or anything like that. Additionally, it appears that while things have gotten worse for them, they have improved for all of us. Is that after a rather heated disagreement, they are not working as closely together as we once witnessed when their whole texts and communications got disclosed in the first place. Simply came out and told us why everything is the way it is, which is essentially because Act was reprimanded by the pathetic old Lubri Love and Kareen and Drake for his interactions with Dave Free and Anthony Sala at Kendrick Lamar's GNX show. Akademiks is shouting too loudly to even listen to this, so I'm just going to tell you what happened straight up now. And then of itself, as you can see by his behavior, S does demonstrate how angry he is with Drake, which ultimately boils down to Drake's attempts to disparage those he dislikes and the increasing mess he has caused with them since the feud. What Drake said to A is that he was terrified of Kendrick Lamar's team. Now with this, especially when you see now the way A is going, and how he is just openly talking about this after pretty much doing everything Drake said and never complaining about it for over a year. The first and only DoorDasher of Famer in hip-hop, however, stated rather bluntly that he said to Drake, "Drake, I pulled up, you gonna pull up?" And then put forth much more effort on this. We can all see that A finally found the strength to confront the man he has done the most for and received the least back from, because he ultimately told Drake that if he truly cared this much, he should have gone to the shows to speak with them, and that if he were any tougher than A, he simply would have. In other words, they are going to your city to call you about that thing, as A informed Drake directly and repeatedly. Will you arrive by car? Well, for Drake at this moment, now that we are seeing that you have gotten ethered by DJ Akademiks, you need to go. You had to retire because, after everything that had been going on between them, DJ Akademiks of all people put you in your place and was quite forthright about how he did this. Since Drake is the softest person in the game, he will even show his face in front of his rivals, and then he simply points out how Drake didn't, so he can't say anything about what he did. In reality, what we're seeing now is that people are so sick of being around Drake and putting up with all the absurd things that he just keeps making worse and worse. Now A is actually asserting that he is more resilient than Drake, and now the person who has always been his strongest supporter is telling everyone how soft the guy is. Furthermore, this, and for everybody who was attempting to say that Drake was back on top, I believe this just makes your man appear more pathetic than you could have ever thought. And the thing that shocks me the most about this is that Akademiks have now completely joined the group of individuals who have called out Drake for acting like a very awful guy. Really? Now the greatest standout and the man who has gone above and beyond to attempt to assist Drake and truly restore his career just came out and said this. Hip-hop is being dismantled and then reassembled. What we can tell is now with one of these last items that was holding up the Drake house of lies, and that was giving these sad crashes a consistent voice to gather all of their anger and delusion around. Even though AK continues to claim that he enjoys Drake's music, which I suppose he does, and he simply has a trash ear for good hip-hop in terms of being friends with and respecting Drake, he appears to be completely fed up with him trying to push him around and with all of the antics that come with being Drake's media puppet for so long. Once more, Akademiks have demonstrated their dominance over Drake by claiming to be tougher than pathetic Lubri. It is easy to understand why, as Akademiks actually attended Kendrick Lamar's performances, while Drake simply fled and hid from them. Akademiks can stand by his statements against Drake and just assert that he is tougher than the man, which is simply mind-boggling. I never imagined I would say this, and I really want to just laugh out loud. And I doubt that anyone would have ever believed you if you had told them a few years ago that this is where hip-hop would go, especially with these crashes. In the end, scholars are revealing that Drake's whole remaining persona was constructed on a foundation of falsehoods and nothing more than empty promises that he never kept. The DoorDash Hall of Famer himself has now physically encountered Drake. This is the funniest thing that could ever occur, because Drake is currently attempting to resurrect hip-hop and compete with artists like Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar, as well as elite figures in other fields like LeBron James. Since the end of the beef, AKA has been leading the group of people who have become Drake's supporters and the entire audience who genuinely think that Drake was set up by the industry as well. Therefore, it is important to have the basement dweller who has genuinely done more than you have, to ensure that your fan base remains united. Drake is devastated by this loss, since he is genuinely unable to attempt to communicate with anyone at this time. Because what would you say if I had betrayed him and just called him out for being weak? And now, really, you still support Drake even though it seems like a rap renaissance is about to begin, and there are a lot of things happening that demonstrate how much better hip-hop is without him at the forefront. Now, even with Drake yelling at Akademiks and their eventual turn against him and refusal to put up with all of the absurd things he has had to go through, it feels like it was scripted for a movie. Since this is what it is, the villain's sidekick is now essentially turning against him. Just off of it now is the largest Drake stan and the head of the group of individuals who have supported him thus far. We are seeing not only the biggest and most blatant proof that Drake was never put up by the industry at all, but also that he is simply a straight-up bad person who ends up making even his friends not like him. He has gotten in a lot of problems because of it. Additionally, the situation is made worse by the disappearance of the act and the shrinking circle of the so-called lame old loving Team Drake. No matter what you think of A and his people, they have been out there every day ensuring that Drake remains the most obnoxious presence in hip-hop that we could have. No one else is going to do that, so it doesn't even matter what other cloud chasers still hang out around him. In actuality, Drake is having a terrible time right now, while more iconic moments, songs, and albums from legendary rappers seem to be on the horizon. Breaking up with Akademiks is about the worst thing that could have happened, and it will only make Drake's situation worse because, unless there is something he can do to change things, he will be forced to do whatever he wants. The stories are going to turn against Drake even more in a way this time around, leaving his fans completely lost because they will no longer have one of the leaders of the movement that has been dividing hip-hop as a whole, creating that divide further, and really so overall, as we are now at a point in time in hip-hop where the clips are out, winning over everyone like Travis Scott, Justin Bieber, and Lil Wayne. And now Tyler the Creator may have another classic coming, and while Kendrick Lamar is Kendrick Lamar. On the other side, we are seeing Drake still missing, and despite Akademiks being the most significant individual in Drake's whole circle, despite what his followers would have you believe, simply tell him to stop pushing him around and call him soft. This is a huge dispute and fall off, I mean. Furthermore, it appeared as if Drake was attempting to simply enter Axe's psyche and establish a more bizarre relationship between them after he was rewarded and outperformed by every other streamer and clout chaser over Axe. Well done, Axe, for defending himself and telling Drake that he is more sensitive than he will ever be. And now for a Hall of Famer, DoorDash, and keyboard warrior to simply clown Drake up and down like this. It seems like a lot is shifting and turning in hip-hop right now, and we are truly positively transitioning into the next age. The conflict and estrangement between the rapper and puppet, whose collaboration most hindered this genre, is a clear indication of where it's all headed. As all of this began and developed as a result of Nicki's complete collapse, we are beginning to see that all of these individuals on this side of hip-hop are just still having their epic fall-offs. Not only is the opposing side prevailing, but all of these losers are putting an end to careers in a manner that has never been witnessed before. And when you consider this, you can't help but wonder what these people might be thinking. Because they just manage to bring themselves more and more shame with every action they take. Now that you have mentioned all of this, please let me know. How do you feel about the split between Drake and the Akademiks? With whom are you siding? What impact, in your opinion, will it have on hip-hop narratives, and how Ak handles Drake in general moving forward? I'm eager to hear your thoughts on all of now. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you've watched the entire video and are looking forward to an amazing day of rap music. It's really helpful to me. Speaking of exciting times in rap history, if you're ready to witness how Tyler the Creator is set to achieve something extraordinary, and how Clips just received a gigantic W after releasing a #1 album, then now is the time. And in all honesty, we are witnessing something monumental in rap form right before our very eyes. Watch the recommended video